isolated apartment. Because of my job, I often work on a computer in the night. It was already over 2 in the morning. A window was open for ventilation. In other words, an ordinary summer night. At one moment, a strange noise caught my attention. Looked around, I didn't immediately understand where the sound was coming from, and at that moment, it started. I heard a weak knocking, as if someone was fingering on my door from the hallway. How I was fucking surprised by horror at that moment, undescribable. I felt like I would faint. Everything was tightening in my chest. Noises stopped. I had an idea to go to turn on the lights, to see who was beyond the door. But I couldn't control myself. My body just didn't obey me. I started examining the door through the darkness. At first I didn't notice anything, but when I looked down, I saw fingers stuck out on the gap between the door and the floor. They were groping the door from the side of my room. I froze, afraid to make a breath. These were unordinary, pale human fingers. It seemed like someone put a hand under the door to grope it. And all of a sudden, the hand hid in the doorway. In less than 2 seconds later, the hand appeared again. That time it started to grope the floor. I started to feel sick with fear. Everything froze in my body. The hand disappeared again. At that moment, it started carefully push the door on. A push, another. I just froze in a chair, not believing what was going on there. And at that moment, I, with fear, was gazing into the darkness through the door glass. There was nothing. Literally no one. No movements, and the rattle still continued, and was getting louder and louder. How I thanked myself for a habit of locking doors, I don't know. At the sight of such a fear, I finally jumped and turned the lights on in the room, took a phone and called my friend. I woke him up with my call and told him everything. He took me quite seriously and suggested to get the hell out of the apartment as fast as possible. But how would I come into the hallway where it was waiting for me? We talked until the morning with the lights on. Nothing else happened. We agreed that the friend would drive up to my house, help to pack some things, and I for a couple of days would live with him. In the morning he drove to me and I called him sometimes and heard him. And finally I heard the long-awaited call of a doorbell. I pulled myself together and opened the door. I literally rushed to the front door at full speed, opened the door, and there, nobody. To say that I was scared is to say nothing. Almost crying, I literally flew out of the apartment, dominating everything, and this fucking night. Like 20 minutes later, the friend came. We went to him. I returned to my apartment only with a banshee. He sanctified everything. Nothing has happened since then. I think it's over, but I can't remember this story when I'm alone. I'm afraid, and now I know that there is something unexplained in our world.